defense first. And it's always impressive when you get some offensive production, especially considering the catcher position. Well, there's Jack Leiter. He's our Sewell starting pitcher today. He'll go for his 15th start, 50th career. ERA sits right under 5. The league's hitting .247 against him. And here's the arsenal for him. 46% fastball. He'll throw the slider 18% of the time. That kick change, he'll throw 18% as well. Cutter at 10% and a curveball 8% of the time.
Okay, well, let's see what he will see from these Minnesota Twins today. Our Trajan Wealth starting lineup. The Twins 35 and 40. It'll be Trevor Larnach leading it off. Byron Buxton in center field batting second, and then Cody Clemens in right. It's Lewis, Bell, and Lee in the middle. Victor Caratini will do the catching today. Tristan Gray and Luke Keyshaw follow him to round it out.
Well, Rangers defense today brought to you by Vivint. Vivint is for you. It's Wyatt Langford, Alejandro Osuna, and Brandon Nimmo in the outfield. Young, Duran, Smith, and Berger make up your infield. We just showed you Kyle Higashioka. He'll be back there behind the plate catching Jack Leiter today.
Okay, so here we go. Final game of this series. Rangers again. I feel like we've had this conversation a lot recently. It was a struggling Twins team coming in. But now the Rangers in a spot here where they need a win to avoid a sweep, similar to how things went down in Boston at the end of that last road trip. Leiter's ready. Here's his first pitch, and that one is lined right up the middle. A base hit to get things started today for Larnach and the Twins.
Let's go to our TXU Energy Power Stats. Byron Buxton has been a menace to the Rangers. 8 games since 2025, well over 300 with power. 5 homers, 10 RBIs, 1358 on the OPS. Let's go ahead and try to figure out a way to get this guy out in the first.
He's a tough one, having a great season. And Leiter's second pitch of the game, a slider. It's in there for a strike to Buxton. That single by Larnach, 9th time in this series that the Twins have put the leadoff man on base. Now, on the previous 8 occasions, they've managed to score that guy 6 times. So pretty high odds. And 1 strike pitch here. That's fouled over to the right side. Out of play, 0-2. Now, Buxton. It's almost shocking when you look back at his career now. At all the promise and, of course, all the ability, he is. He's lived up to it in one sense. That is, when he's on the field, he has been as dynamic a player as everybody assumed he would be. But he's 32 years old now, and it's just he's missed a dearth of games. But healthy this year. And right now, as hot as they come. Leiter's 0-2, and he got him swinging. It was a changeup, and he got Buxton out in front, and that's the first strikeout of the day for Leiter.
Let's check out that changeup grip. Man, that's a good-looking pitch. The way he grips it, the way it leaves his hand, the way it moves, and obviously, we love the result after seeing the Buxton numbers versus the Rangers.
All right, big out. And now he'll work to Cody Clemens. And Clemens swings right over the top of the curveball. Which, that's one of those pitches we probably don't talk about a ton with Leiter. But when that curveball is working, I think it is really a devastating pitch for him. Especially, or almost, as much for the change of pace as anything. The changeup is low, 1-1. Because even his changeup's pretty hard. It's a quote-unquote kick change, as we call it.
Can't remember the last time I heard anybody call it a change of pace, though. Yeah. That's a good one.
It's old school, Murph.
Yeah, he did calisthenics to warm up today. And then he's throwing the change of pace.
1-2 the count as he gets that one in there with the old Swifty. 1-2 the count. Larnach over at first base.
We'll call it an overhand curveball.
Old Uncle Charlie. Leiter, 3 wins, 6 losses, a 4.86 ERA. And the right-handers offering that one fouled away. Leiter had that great year last year. Seemed, a little bit like a breakthrough season for him, and I think there was some expectation that he would even take another step forward on that this year. And we've seen it at times, there's no doubt. The 1-2 pitch, that's in the dirt. 2-2, and Higashioka wants a new baseball.
Talk about athleticism of a catcher. He had to turn his glove over to make sure that his body was in front. There's multiple things that he's considering that all happen in a split second.
Varnick with a little lead, not much over there, and there's a swing, and that one is lined into center. That gets down for a base hit. Around second, heading to third, Larnach, and the throw cut off near shortstop. So a base hit by Clemens, and the Twins have a couple of base runners in the first inning. Stop me if you've heard this one before.
I mean, this is a pitch that is hanging up in the strike zone. And I just feel like we were talking about the first inning a lot. And now, unless the Rangers turn a double play, the theme that we've talked a little bit about off camera is just if you can get 5 batters to the plate in an inning. I think there's been 1 inning in this series between both teams where a run hasn't been scored. So it's kind of obvious. You get 2 base runners on, if you're going to send 5 batters to the plate in an inning. The Twins have done a really good job of capitalizing all series long.
Here's Royce Lewis batting cleanup today. Varnick at third, Clemens the runner at first base, and he'll draw a throw. Back in there easily. Now Clemens has stolen 6 bases this year in 8 tries, and Leiter has had some difficulty this season controlling the run game. Teams have run on him, I don't want to say at will, but with pretty good success. So we'll see how aggressive the Twins want to be. Not going. It's 0-2 on Lewis. Lewis 1 for 8 so far in the series with a couple of RBIs. Pretty good Thursday afternoon crowd here. 0-2 and a swing and a miss. Got him on the changeup again. 2 strikeouts in this inning, 2 on the change.
And 2 in big spots where just to follow up a hit, you need an out, especially here in a first and third situation. A lot of times pitchers are pitching to contact. When you have a runner at third and less than 2, you're going for that strikeout.
Okay, now Josh Bell. Switch hitter, bats left-handed here, bounces it down to first, but just foul.
Here's a replay. Strikeout. What? That back foot, that's interesting. And I think that's a trend that's happening in baseball. All these hitters are talking about getting into their back hip. I think Mike Trout's doing it now. Nolan Arenado is one that's done it for a while. You can do it in a drill before the game, but it seems like a lot of these players are taking it into their at-bats during games.
That's a crazy little move.
If you're trying to quiet down your body as a hitter and create less movement, that doesn't seem like that would help.
1-1 to Bell, and he'll spoil that one to the left side and up into the seat. So Leiter needs 1 more strike, and man, oh man, for the Rangers, would it be a massive lift to get through the top of the first inning scoreless. It's amazing that it's come to that, but it has been such a rare occasion, it seems. Runners off the corners, and there's a swing and a bouncer by second base into right field. A base hit for Bell. It scores a run, and the Twins get that first tally of the ball game today. Man, Josh Bell stays hot. He's 5 for 9 in this series now.
When he comes into this one hitting .338 with runners in scoring position. Leiter tried to go to the changeup again. It's been successful in getting him strikeouts. Bell just has those long arms and reaches out, gets enough of it to shoot it by Smith.
So 1-0 Minnesota, and Leiter not out of the woods yet. Brooks Lee the hitter, and again men at first and third base. And that one found a way over to the left side. So the Twins just kind of updating the run tally for you so far in this series. That's 17 runs scored, but 11 of the 17 runs have scored with 2 outs. There's a swing and a drive. That's out to right field. Back on it goes Nemo, and that one is gone. Brooks Lee with a 3-run homer. And before we can even settle in here this afternoon, the Twins have a 4-0 lead in the first inning. It is an absolute epidemic for the Rangers. The first inning just stinks.
Change up again. This one in the middle, hanging up in the zone. We were hoping that the off day yesterday was going to break up the momentum for the Minnesota offense. They come out in this first inning showing us exactly the opposite. That did not happen.
Man. So the 7th hitter of the inning, Caratini, and he will take down low for ball 1. Three singles and a home run. Those Twins, they just keep swinging, man. This one way inside and goes to the backstop. Our Mercedes-Benz cover every base, and that's quite the theme for the Twins. They love to cover every base with one swing, and they've done it 52% of the time in June. That's how they have scored their runs. Only the Tigers and the Athletics lean on the home run more often. There's a strike. 2-1 to Caratini. So plenty of work to do again for this Rangers lineup before they ever get a chance to pick up a bat. And a swing and a miss evens things up here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Liner working quickly, and there's a soft liner out to left field coming on for it. Langford, did he get the catch, or was it trapped? It was trapped. And so Caratini is on with a base hit. Great effort by Langford, but just a split second too late.
It goes into the slide knowing that he may not catch it. Does a good job of keeping the baseball in front of him, but it obviously hits the turf first. Yeah, I feel like one of the themes lately, I can't put any numbers to this, is that how many times do the Rangers seem like they're one pitch away?
Yeah.
And that was the case in the at-bat with Bell. And so you give up a single, right? Oh, not a big deal if we can get out of this first inning, especially the way that things have gone with one run. You feel okay about that. But then the 3-run homer, that is it's not a knockout punch in the first inning, but it makes it really hard on your offense.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a knockout punch, right? Because you have so far to go. You haven't even had a chance yet. But it's, I guess, just given the way things have gone, right? There's that weird sense of inevitability to it, and it's deflating. Rangers have been outscored 9-0 in the first inning just in this series. So Caratini will take his meager lead off first. And Gray watches strike one. The fastball from Jack Leiter. Leiter's troubles have generally come in the 5th inning this year. Not so much the first. There's a swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
And this is already the 3rd time in this 3-game series that the Twins have had an inning in which they've sent as many as 8 men to the plate.
Wow. Well, Tristan Gray, he got the start Tuesday night at shortstop. And he strikes out on 3 pitches here. So Leiter strikes out the side in the 1st inning, but that's not the story. The story for the 5 hits, including a 3-run homer by Brooks Lee, and it's another tonight.
That lineup will go up against Joe Ryan, Minnesota pitcher. He's got some good stuff. 5th in the American League with 92 strikeouts, 3.17 ERA, and 82 in the 3rd innings. There's Arsenal for him. 56% fastball. He's got a sweeper, split, curve, and slider. He used the sweeper, split, and curve about an equal amount. 68% first pitch strike rate. That's 5th highest among major league starters. He will pound the strike zone.
Quite the challenge today for the Rangers. But they've got the full afternoon to get after it here, and Peterson showing bunt takes strike one. Jock having a really nice season so far, especially it seems out of that leadoff spot. And he watches one away. 1 for 4 in Tuesday's game, has 3 hits in the series, in fact, including a home run. And he'll take high here. It's been one incredible bounce back here in 2026 for Peterson off the worst season of his career last year. And he shoots that one down the line foul. Well, near play made. And then it's a job of picking it up. I don't know how that feels. You know, you go from a moment of maybe being a hero. There's a little check swing foul. That may have damaged Jock's bat. He's walking back to the dugout. Or maybe just needs a little more. I don't know. Must have cracked the bat.
Yeah, I heard it. It's not every day that you see it happen on a check swing.
Almost a hero in the red hat. And then these guys. Well, hey, happy Easter.
I mean, how often do you even get a chance to touch a foul ball?
Right.
So I guess.
Oh, red hat almost.
Just off the fingertips.
1-2 pitch. And Jock takes just a smidge low, and they will challenge. Interesting. Mike Estabrook allowing that challenge by Caratini. A little slower. And it was low. So the Twins burn one of their challenges, our ABS challenges, powered by T-Mobile. Two balls, 2 strikes on Peterson. And he'll take strike 3. So 1 away. Jock made him work for it, a 7-pitch at bat, but nothing to show for it.
I guess normally you feel like that's your leadoff man doing some work and setting the tone for the offense, although down 4-0. I think you're just looking for any type of action. Yeah. Any out is a struggle. That's why it's hard to hit and run. It's hard to bunt when you're down by 4.
So Young steps in here and he takes a strike. So realistically, Murph, the way things have gone, you know, it's easy for guys Dauber to get a little down after a 4-0 start to a game. What do you feel like the Rangers need to see happen here early, like maybe even this inning?
Score a run.
Yeah, like just a run.
Yeah, I would love to get into all the details, but put some pressure on the pitcher. Jock just did that. I mean, I think that's a +7 pitch at bat, even though we said every out when you're down by 4, it hurts. Seems like it hurts more than, you know, a typical out. But I think if we can just get some base runners, score a run, love to score 2 here in the first, and then build a little bit of momentum. We saw it with Rocker the other day. Gave up some in the first. He had a great second inning, right? So if you can score 2, have a shutdown inning, that's helpful.
Chopper to shortstop, and Young retired, 2 away.
Well, Twins defense brought to you by Defender. Larnick, Buxton, and Clemens in the outfield. Tristan Gray, Luke Keyshaw up the middle. Brooks Lee, Royce Lewis on the corners. Victor Caratini, his first start of the series at catcher.
Okay, 2 away. And here's Wyatt Langford. Wyatt had a hit in Tuesday's game. But in the last 6 games, Langford hitting just 136. That one is just a smidge high. 2-0. You can see Ryan looking like, well, what? You could challenge that one too if you wanted, but he didn't want to challenge it.
Already burned one.
Yeah, that's going to be tough in the first inning for Caratini. Not that there are rules necessarily that a team might have on that, and maybe they do. And maybe Caratini felt like, look, the unspoken rule here is I can't burn both challenges in the first inning. That one is a strike, and Langford might have had an argument there. 3-1 the count. Well, the right-hander's pitch fouled away. Ryan's been a good one. 6'2", 215 pounds. He's 30 years old now. And this is 16th start of the year, is 3-2, and he strikes out Langford. In fact, strikes out 2 of the 3 he faces, so a really tidy start for Joe Ryan. That's a tough first inning all the way around for the Rangers. We'll go to
put a timeline on his return just yet. He is eligible to come off that 7-day concussion IL tomorrow, and he did tell Skip Schumacher he's feeling better, but as we know, concussions are really unpredictable. Skip said he thinks the frustration level for Corey right now is also really high. This does follow a period of time where Corey missed a couple of weeks with that back issue. And he did say this is Corey's team, so he really wants to be out there. And guys, I think when you add in just the unknowns of a concussion, that only gets more frustrating.
I think it's difficult because, say, an oblique injury or any type of core injury, like that's a really tricky one because it affects nearly everything that you do in daily life. If it's like a ankle or a knee, you know, it might bug you to walk, but you have your upper body available. Concussion is pretty unpredictable because I think Skip Schumacher mentioned it pregame. You know, you might be fine to hit and throw, but then you start to run and you feel a little bit off. So you have to treat any type of concussion symptoms with the utmost care.
Leiter just a little bit low. 1 and 2. Yep, and it's different for different guys. It's different levels of concussion, obviously. And Skip said he had one years ago when he was playing. It took 10 days. 1-2 pitch. And it's fouled away. Well, Luke Keyshaw is the 9th place hitter today for the Twins, and they scored 4 runs last inning. Leiter really needs an efficient second. Well, Luke Keyshaw is the 9th place hitter today for the Twins, and they scored 4 runs last inning. Leiter really needs an efficient second. And more to the point, a scoreless second inning. Kershaw did check up the swing. It's 2-2. Look at those numbers for the Minnesota Twins. 13 homers in the last 6 games. Kershaw hits that hard out into left field. That's in for a hit. And the lead man on again for Minnesota. So here's Larnach, who started it last inning with a base hit. Eventually scored on the Josh Bell single. And the Rangers were 1 strike away from getting out of the first inning without any harm done. But unfortunately, harm was lurking, and it popped its little head out there in the first inning, and Leiter misses with ball 1. So this is how the Rangers start the homestand this series with Minnesota. They have San Diego coming over the weekend, the Padres' only trip to town. There's a bouncer down to first base, and Berger will go to second base for 1, on to first in time. How about that double play? Well, off the bat, and with the time it took Berger to get rid of the baseball, I just assumed that they would only get the lead runner.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Berger paused for a second. I don't even know if he had the ball in his glove. He realized he did. He gets the ball to Zeke. It wasn't even the best throw for Zeke to get a return throw on. Gathers himself and throws a bullet right back to him.
Well, there's a big play. There's a swing and a miss by Buxton. He was fooled badly on the curveball. So just like that, 2 down, nobody on base. And Leiter's 1 strike offering. A little bit tight. He got Buxton to swing and miss over the top of a changeup last inning for the strikeout. And Buxton, he does strike out with some frequency. I mean, that's not the type of thing he shies away from. He swings and misses here for strike 2. One of those guys who swings hard and does damage. Slug a big part of his game, and oftentimes in today's game that comes with strikeouts. Not all the time, but usually it does. 1-2 and a foul tip. The Twins check in today with a record of 35-40. And that has them 4.5 games back of the White Sox and Guardians, who are tied for the top spot in the Central Division. One-two on the way, and that one is off the handle, bounced slowly to shortstop. Duran charging, throws, and he gets Buxton to win the inning. So a scoreless second. Leiter does get that efficient second. Well, we talked about the need for Leiter to be good today. Still got a chance to give him some innings.
Early outs, and they're not seeing as many pitches. They're averaging 3.8 pitches per plate appearances, just 3.4 this series, and then 40 of their 67 plate appearances have happened in 3 pitches or less, just a 205 batting average in those 40 plate appearances. I think it's just tricky. Like you and I talked about this in between games the other day, and how the pitcher is trying to get the hitter out in the first 3 pitches. But if you look at the numbers league-wide, hitters have more success on the first 3 pitches also. So say you're looking at Jock Peterson's at bat in the first inning. He didn't record a hit, but we've talked so many times about your general idea as a hitter. What are you trying to do? You're trying to hit the ball hard, but you're trying to put as much pressure as you possibly can on the pitcher. And if you see a lot of pitches, you're doing that. So it's kind of an either or, right? Like it's a difficult situation. You want to do damage early, but then if you get out, then you're playing right into the pitcher's hand.
Nimmo's base hit, third pitch of the at-bat.
Third pitch.
So, yeah, it is interesting. The numbers are dramatically favor hitters when they do seek action in those first 3 pitches. So it is kind of a it's one of those arguments that I feel like you can make either side a lot of times. Is the first pitch here a strike to Duran when things aren't going well, like they weren't on Monday. I was griping about that in the postgame show. Oh boy, too many quick at bats. But at the same time, it's like, well, the quick at bats where oftentimes you have success. So maybe maybe it's not worth really getting into whether they were quick or long. A lot of times it's just a matter of, well, were they productive or unproductive?
I think it's one of those series where let's just throw all the numbers out the window, because what were we wanting from Jack Leiter today? Throw first pitch strikes.
Yeah.
What has he done? Throw first pitch strikes. And the Twins offense has been really good. But to put some numbers to what we're talking about, if a hitter sees 1 to 3 pitches, the numbers average and slug, 297 average, 493 slug, pitches 1 through 3 in an at bat across Major League Baseball. Pitches 4 through 6, 194 batting average, 311 slug. So that is a big difference. That's a 100-point drop in batting average. That's 80 points in slug, and then 7 through 9 about the same. A 7-point drop, 187 batting average, 310 slug. So I guess you could say, yeah, you're doing something right. You're putting pressure on the pitcher if you see 7, 8, or 9 pitches, but it's probably not going to result in you being on base or doing so with damage.
And anecdotally, I'd say that there was a point where it seemed like offensively this team started to turn a corner, and they had that stretch of 4 straight series. They winning series or scoring some runs, especially here at home. Had that great homestand where they were really racking up the runs. 2-2, and Duran lifts it out to center field. Buxton is there, 1 away. Well, during that stretch, philosophically, they made a tweak, and they were like, hey, maybe we're being a little too patient and a little too passive, especially against starting pitchers. Maybe we should be a little more on the hunt. And so they did. They were like, well, let's, instead of reacting to the pitcher, let's make him deal with us. And so they went after him a little bit, and they started putting together big innings and enjoying a little more offense. And so it was actually the aggressiveness, it seemed to kind of slowly turn that ship around a little bit. But then you have a bad couple of games and a guy like me might start griping.
Well, what about last year, right? I feel like the theme of the first month or 2 last year was these guys are not really putting pressure on the opposing starter, and that starter's getting into the 6th inning with 55 to 60 pitches, and it happened frequently. Well, and then what happened at some point in there, we saw Evan Carter come up, and he was doing what he does, and he was getting into full counts, and he was making pitchers work, and it was refreshing, right? But I think the bottom line is all this in all this is we're just going to let them figure it out because we don't have the answers.
Well, and that's the other thing. We have the ability to categorize all this stuff by pitches or whatever. We can track just about every single thing, and then you can start putting these various filters on the data. Well, what's it like, pitches 1 through 3 versus 3 through 6, and you could argue that we're finding truth in those numbers and that they reveal something, and sure, that is true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that was reflective of the intent going in, right? So I don't know. It's such a confusing game sometimes. Runner goes. Oh, that one came in, and that got Smith on the fingers. Ugh. Hit him on the hand, on the knuckles. Now, I didn't see whether or not they called it a swing. If they called it a swing, then it's simply a foul ball. If it was not a swing, then it's a hit by pitch. And here comes Matt Lucero, head athletic trainer, to take a look. Skip Schumacher right behind him. Nimmo was running and he stands out at second base as if it was a hit by pitch. Somebody's going to have to determine one way or the other. Either it was a foul ball and Nimmo has to go back to first, or it was a hit by pitch and everybody's fine. Yeah, now they're calling Nimmo back to first. Oh, did it hit the hand at all?
Maybe.
I'm not so sure it did.
It didn't look like it from there.
Doesn't mean it didn't hurt, right? That it didn't irritate the hands. You hit it on that part of the bat. Yeah. So now they're going to talk about it over here. I don't know if they're what they're asking Skip Schumacher. Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief, heading over there. And maybe he was just asking, like, do you want to challenge it? And I think he does. Let's see.
After crew consultation, it is a dead ball, swinging strike for strike 3, so the batter's out.
Well, a swinging strike. Oh, well, but it hit the bat. He fouled it off.
That makes no sense. So
how could they make that call? Like they know it hit something. I thought the debate was whether or not it hit his hand or whether he swung.
So the only way that I can see that being possible is if they saw that it did hit his hand first, then
and never hit the bat, and therefore it's not a foul ball. I guess
a lot of things going on there. Because did he swing the bat? Like I guess I was so caught up in whether it hit him or not. I didn't see whether he went, but it didn't seem like there was much of an argument on that side.
Well, he said it was a swinging strike.
Okay.
So yeah. But he fouled it. The Rangers, I mean, I suppose you could.
See, I don't even think he went.
I don't either, actually. Looking at that, it doesn't look like he committed, went all the way. Yeah, I think he held up. Fascinating. That one's down low, 1-1 to Berger. I just don't think anything about that made any sense.
Just like all the numbers that we just threw out there. It's just one of those innings.
Can we just get some simple stuff? 2-1 to count to Berger now. So Ryan with 3 strikeouts so far. And Berger asks for time. He'll back away. Joe Ryan, he was a member of Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. Last year, All-Star for the first time in his career. And he gets a swing and a miss from Berger. That evens the count at 2-2. Sets again and delivers. That's off the plate, full count. Now Berger has been the Rangers' run producer. Home runs, RBIs. Tops on the team in both those categories. And a quick toss over there to first. Nimmo not going anywhere. Ryan played his college ball, started his college career at Cal State Northridge in Southern California, and then transferred to Stanislaus, which sounds like a great side dish. Runner goes, the pitch is high, and that's ball 4. Berger walks, and the Rangers have a couple of men on. I mean, wouldn't be out of character for somebody to ask for an extra serving of Stanislaus.
What ethnicity is that cuisine, would you say?
Well, that's got to be German, right?
German.
Gotta be some sort of fermented veggie side dish of some kind. So a couple of it on for Alejandro Osuna. And that's fouled off. Alejandro getting the strike today, batting 8th. Well, it's an early opportunity here for the Rangers to cash in. And Osuna battling there as he fights off a good fastball at 95. And this is where the Rangers have at times had a little trouble, right? Runners on base, they get traffic, so to speak. The big key, if they're going to turn this thing around, is cashing these in. The 0-2 is high. Speaking of the World Baseball Classic, Alejandro played in a couple of games for Mexico this year. And he rolls this one up the middle. Picked up at second base by Keyshaw. He throws it over in time to get Osuna, and the inning is done. So the Rangers leave a couple. Back home here in the Metroplex. And the Rangers trailing 4-0. No mystery as to why the roof is closed. 74 degrees here inside. Mentioned that the Padres are coming to town tomorrow for a weekend series. And as I understand it, plenty of good seats available for all 3 games. Padres 3 games over 500. Second place in the National League West behind the Dodgers. A good team with some true superstars of the game. And we know that the Rangers, they play their best baseball against teams with winning records. Normally you might say, ooh, well, that could be a tough series. Now you're kind of licking your chops. It's the teams like the Twins that really give the Rangers trouble. 1-1. That might be one of the more curious trends we've seen this year for this Rangers team. There you go, 19-14 against winning teams. But boy, you get a sub 500 team in here, and look out. Bouncer down to first. Berger, little bobble. A good exchange with Leiter, and Clemens retired to begin the 3rd inning.
Everything seems to be a little bit backwards with a lot of these numbers, a lot of these trends. I mean, similar to when, say, when the Rangers faced Imai late May, early June. As part of the combined no-hitter. That's the last guy that you thought that would be the result. I think his ERA coming into that game was over 8. Maybe we'll make some sense out of some of this stuff. There'll be a number that adds up that makes sense. We'll look for it.
Well, I mean, every year there's a confounding trend as Lewis struck out in the 1st inning, gets ahead here 2-0. Boy, that one bounced up and knocked off Higgy's face mask and helmet and his pitch comm. Look at this thing. Oh, got the back side of everything.
It looked like it got him in his neck too, although he's not acting like it did. Got up under the mask.
That's crazy. Estabrook just pats him on the back like, yeah, well, son, there'll be days like that.
It's like a carnival game.
I mean, if you gave Leiter, I don't know, 50 more opportunities to do that.
Yep.
There's no way he could do it, could he?
No, go ahead and hand him the big stuffed animal now.
Here comes the 2-1 from Jack, and that's fouled off. Well, Leiter was good in the 2nd inning. He got that double play started by Jake Berger. And that wiped off the leadoff hit, but it was a 3-batter inning. Gets the first batter here in the 3rd. So maybe Jack can settle in a little bit after that 4-run first inning. There's a swing and a miss. He strikes out Lewis for a second time today.
It's just good old-fashioned heat right here. 97. He drops it just for a split second. That's why you saw the tag of Lewis, that untraditional step back that we showed you during his first at bat. Seemed like he was on time, but swings through it.
So 4 strikeouts for Leiter and 9 whiffs. Bell fouls that one away. Bell's at bat to me was sort of the critical one in that first inning. Got down 2 strikes. Looked like Leiter might be able to get out of the inning, no harm done. And then Bell delivered a big hit to score a run and keep the inning going. Leiter misses way in here. Higgy can't even grab it. It's 1-1. A lot of room along the 3rd baseline. Rangers really playing Bell to pull it on the infield. Outfield place him straight up. Basically, Young is playing shortstop and Duran kind of roving up the middle. 2-1, and that's just off the plate. Bell's had a nice series. He typically does when he makes that return trip to the Metroplex. At 3-1, pulls it foul, full count. Grew up here, a Rangers fan, and very highly touted player coming out of high school. He's put together a really nice major league career. 3-2, and that just misses in. Leiter walks Bell. Well, Twins have a 2-out base runner, and we have a moment for Academy Sports and Outdoors. All right, Brooks Lee hit the big 3-run homer in the first inning. And he bounces this one down to first. Nice play by Berger. He'll step on the base, and that ends the inning. Well, Jake Berger, another good defensive play today down there at the reverse hot corner. And Jack Leiter continuing to get the swings and misses and the strikeouts. His 4th of the afternoon when he got Lewis.
Sitting next to a bunch of Croatian fans, and he said when they came back to tie it, the environment was absolutely electric. There were a ton of Rangers players there. Kamar Rocker was also there because he was disappointed he didn't get to experience all of the Scottish fans at Fenway on Sunday. He said, I was kind of annoyed because all my teammates came back talking about it, and I wanted to hear these fans chant the whole time. He said it actually kind of reminded him of baseball because he said it was really chill for a period of time, and then they would get close to the goal and the whole crowd would become, alive again. And he said it's almost like when you're watching baseball when it's quiet for a long time and then somebody hits a home run and you're like, oh, that's why we all come to the game. So I don't know, just a really cool environment here around Arlington right now.
It sounded like it was a good one too. 4-2.
Yeah.
Like that's a ton of offense for a soccer game. That's what fans like to see, right? They like to see goals.
Yeah,
I would think, coming from somebody who knows nothing about soccer.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to probably pick up on the big defensive plays. So yeah, shots on goal, goals.
I feel like you're kind of nailing this right now. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, it seemed like it was. I watched it. It seemed like a pretty entertaining ball game, and they've got a lot of history, those two. England and Croatia, World Cup history. 2018, a massive match where Croatia beat England to prevent them from getting into the finals. There's a bouncer down the third baseline. Foul. 2-2 on Higgy.
Like this one was just foul. Line drive that was hooking. Matter of inches. Right call by Alfonso Marquez.
That's 10 foul balls already today by these Rangers hitters. It's adding to Joe Ryan's pitch count. I mean, he's bumping up near 50 already. You can make it 11 foul balls. Stays 2-2 on Higgy. Well, right before we got started, you saw some of the great numbers for the Rangers catching core here recently. They've been swinging it well as a group.
Do I hear 12?
What's that?
Do I hear 12 foul balls?
Foul balls. Keep them coming. Two pitch, and that's on outside. It's a full count. Higgy now over a fairly long stretch, going back to May 17th, so just a smidge over a full month. Is hitting .292 with some power. In fact, his OPS over that month, .965, but he goes down looking here, and that's a forced strikeout for Ryan. Well, that'll turn the lineup over. Jock Peterson comes to the plate. That was a 9-pitch at bat there by Higgy. You remember Peterson had the 7-pitch strikeout in the first. And he will watch strike one here. Rangers have a hit and a walk, and that's it so far off Joe Ryan. It's 0-2. Ryan's been kind of interesting to watch between pitches and between innings. He wants a new baseball, which is always kind of a clever way to get a little extra time on that clock. So 0-2 on Jock. Yeah, that's a foul right into the mitt. Peterson strikes out for a second time today.
Well, Ryan's definitely living with that heater. I guess if there's a comparison, if you look at arm angle, if you look at how much he uses his fastball, Brian Wu of the Mariners would probably be a good comp. The interesting thing to me, you look at his four-seam usage as you look at his strikeouts per 9, 10.1. He's up there with the league leaders. He used to throw his fastball going back to 2021 66% of the time. Not a whole lot of guys do that. Brian Wu is a guy who probably does, but it's down to 44%.
Hard bouncer to the right side of the infield, and Young is on with the Rangers' second hit of the game.
No matter what pitch he was going to throw here, Josh Young was going to have a good approach. 94 at the bottom of the zone. Shoots it through the right side, as we've seen him do so many times. He has a ton of success to the opposite field.
All right, so a runner for Langford, and Wyatt takes very high here for a ball. Well, when the Rangers get a man on base, and we've talked about this from time to time, you know, they get the traffic, and Skip Schumacher has said over and over again, listen, if we keep getting the traffic, we'll eventually get that big hit, but you got to have the guys on to do it. 2-0 on that check swing, and so we sort of trying to be patient, waiting for that. Like in this series, when the Rangers have had a man on base, they are 4 for 28, and that's not exactly getting it done. Now, I don't know why it's so weird to me that they would struggle in the ways that they have that way. They can get on base. We've had a hard time really getting them in. Here's a 2-0. And that is strike one on Langford.
I think that's a really good point that you've been talking about, I feel like, for a few weeks now, if not longer, because it's so common to want to look at results with runners in scoring position, which I feel like there's plenty of truth to that, and I think there's plenty of truth to it as far as the Minnesota Twins go, because if you look at their overall numbers, we talked about it the other night, they don't jump off the page at you, but they have some guys that have really good numbers with runners in scoring position. I think it's those on base numbers that would really help move the guys along.
So when you were playing, Murph, was there a way you thought about hitting differently when men were on base or in scoring position?
I just feel like it gave me more of a purpose. I hated hitting with nobody on base because you just feel like you're forcing the action so much at the time, and too often you get in a 2-0 count and you take too big of a swing. So even with 2 strikes, regardless of count, if there was a runner on base, like a single is such a big hit. So I think I looked at the game differently because I could stay small, and I felt more comfortable staying small rather than that big, I guess I would say, overswing. You know, you talk about hitters overswinging, nobody on base, hitters count. That would be the case. You want to come out of your shoes, but you want to do it in a controlled way, and too often I feel like I didn't.
Let's not beat ourselves up. 2 outs, a 3-2 pitch, and that one is up. They want an appeal on the check swing. He did not go. So Langford works the walk, a 7-pitch walk. And hey, the Rangers have a little traffic.
That's a good at bat from Wyatt. Works the count, gets 3-2, fouls off a pitch. And Ryan does get some swing and miss on this pitch at the top of the zone from time to time. That's what makes him so effective, and Langford lays off of it.
And the pitch itself might have been a strike without the swing. I mean, it seemed like that was maybe worth a challenge. And the Twins, they challenge as much as anybody. I mean, they really get after it. But no challenge that time from Caratini. It looked like he might have been scared off after missing a challenge in the first. So he and Ryan having a very intimate conversation out there about what to do with Nimmo. Hey, and I think, Ryan, you see him shaking his head and kind of mumbling to himself. I have, no way of knowing. But he might be a little perturbed with Caratini, because it's twice since that failed challenge that I think he's wanted a challenge, and Caratini didn't do it. Anyway, here's Nimmo, a chance to maybe get the Rangers going, and he takes ball 1. He was 2 for 3 in Tuesday's game, had a double. He's got Young at second, Langford at first base, and a swing and a miss, 1-1. Trying to stop himself, just couldn't do it. There's a swing, and that one bounced up the middle. To his right for it, though, is Keyshaw. Look at the force out at second. So the Rangers again get a little traffic, but unable to get anybody in, and Ryan gets out of a jam. All right, well, we've played 3 so far, and it's 4-0.
Wit and more. Get your tickets at rangers.com/luncheon.
That's when it really began for the Rangers, 1996.
Some fun names part of that list.
Man, team that could just flat out mash. It's Caratini. Starts things here in the 4th inning for Minnesota. Caratini, Gray, and Keyshaw, and Leiter Puts that slider right on the outside corner. They got 4 runs in the first inning, but Leiter has done a good job since then. 4 strikeouts so far today, getting a lot of swing and miss. Well, the 0-2 to Caratini, and he pops it straight up right behind the mound, and Duran will take control of it. Caratini retired, 1 away. All right, how about a moment here for Baylor, Scott and Whitehealth. One out, and here is Tristan Gray. Oh, and he taps one right back to the hill. Nice easy play for Leiter. 2 gone. Those are welcome plays for Jack. Just a weak tapper right back in his direction. So Luke Keyshaw will be the hitter. Be interesting to see what Keyshaw does here, right? Because with a couple of quick outs, Ryan, even though he hasn't allowed a run yet, has had to use a lot of pitches. I don't want to say he's tuckered out, but he might hit a wall of sorts.
We're talking about a guy that's thrown 6 or more in his last 7 starts too. So he's a guy that's typically been efficient.
It's off the plate. 1-1 to count on Keyshaw, who had a base hit in the second inning. It's a 9th place hitter. And the 1-1 in the dirt. So Leiter up over 60 pitches as he works in the 4th inning. Both teams doing a pretty good job of putting pressure on the opposing starter. Here's a 2-1, and that's high, ball 3. Yeah, getting better as the innings stack up. Leiter at least more efficient. I say that, he walks Keyshaw, the 9th place hitter. So we'll move it to the top of the lineup again. 3rd time through now for Minnesota. And you see the numbers for Jack, where things start to become a bit of an issue is when he begins to see guys multiple times in a game. Larnach has singled and bounced into a double play. And he goes after the first pitch, the curveball. And of course, Leiter, that was in that first inning where somebody got on my case for saying how that curveball is a good change of pace. But it was to Larnach, and he got it, he threw it for a strike. And it looks like he feels like he can throw that pitch to Larnach and avoid trouble. There's a fastball for a strike, 0-2. I like it. Well, here we go. We're getting the real Jack Leiter here.
Right.
Talking to himself, motivating himself through this. Going a little Max Scherzer. Keyshaw leading. And the 0-2. It's in the dirt. We've been talking a lot about the soccer here in town this week. Big game yesterday. And the Rangers with a Thursday afternoon crowd here. It's a pretty good Thursday afternoon crowd, and makes you wonder if they've attracted the interest of some of the soccer fans in the area. Runner going. The pitch was outside. The throw not in time, and that's an easy steal for Keyshaw, who now has 11 stolen bases on the year. Happy with himself.
You're already in double digits. You don't need to celebrate.
I think it'll be interesting to see if. Wow. It'll be interesting to see what's going on with that pairing. But it'll be interesting to see if baseball in general gets a little bit of an attendance boost around the game.
I think it should. It's fun having multiple sporting events going on at one time. I think that's what makes Arlington so fun. Just its overall sports and entertainment district brings people from all over.
2-2, and it's a full count now on Larnach. Now, do you have any plans to attend a World Cup game?
There's just too much going on. I would love to. Just as mentioned, I don't know a ton about soccer, but I'd be up for the experience. I don't plan to. You said you're going to go, right?
Yeah, we've got some tickets. We entered the lottery back when FIFA offered a kind of a lottery system for folks. You put in for some games and see if you can get some of the less expensive seats, and we did. We won a couple. July 3rd even, and the team will be home. We have the day off. I'm going. 3-2. Man, that ball's hit well deep out to center field. Long run out there for Osuna. Reached up. Did he get it? He did not. It's a home run for Larnach, although he stands out at second base. And now he'll begin to jog in from second. Nobody really knew at the moment. Osuna looked like he timed it perfectly, but that one just evaded him, and it's another home run. Now 6-0.
Well, you got to give credit to Larnach for battling in that at bat. Once again, it's an elevated pitch, a non-fastball. It's the slider. And yeah, I feel like Osuna did a really good job of getting back there. But what Larnach did so well, and it's not like you can exactly control it when you hit a home run, is he hit it out of the park on a low line drive. That's hard to do to center field, to have that type of power, and it makes the outfielder not be able to. That doesn't give him enough time to get back there, plant his feet, and get a good vertical to rob it.
Now first pitch misses in on Buxton. Well, had his glove not bumped into the wall on his way up for that, I think he does catch it. And that might be why there seemed to be so much confusion. None of the umpires knew what to call it. Larnach stopped and just stood at second base. I think he assumed that it was caught. But right here, he just bumps into that wall. Otherwise, I mean, he's got that one.
That's the importance of an outfielder, to make sure to jump a few steps before the wall. If you jump right at the wall, that wall is going to knock you down. You're usually going to hit it with your shoulder or the glove.
There's a high pop up out into short right field, and coming in for it, Nimmo. He'll make the catch, and the inning is done. But another 2 out. This time 2-run homer by Larnach. And the Twins have a 6-0 lead in this series with the Minnesota Twins. Anyway, they've got time left. We're only into the bottom of the 4th inning. Joe Ryan doing his calisthenics right there.
There you go. I mean, we just did show the promotion for the 1996 honoring the 1996 team. Although I feel like calisthenics is more of an 80s thing.
Yeah.
Along with the change of pace. We could even go back to the 70s for that.
Yeah. And further probably. Duran, Smith, and Berger. Rangers scoreless so far, 2 hits. Spoken like a guy who may have, I don't know, taken a jazzercise class or 2 in his time. Was that you, Murph?
Pre-spin, jazzercise.
Yeah, jazzercise. 2-1.
Although, I mean, I don't know why I haven't done it before. You know, next time I get a chance to introduce a pitcher, because it always just says change for the Arsenal. I'm going to say change of pace next time.
Here's a 2-1 and a high pop up. That one will head toward the seats. Two and 2 on Duran. Duran flew out in the second inning. He's 0 for 1.
We could say like Joe Ryan today, even though, I mean, we're just going all different decades. Joe Ryan, instead of splitty, we could say forkball. That's more of a 90s term, probably.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. Ground ball, shortstop. Oh, a good quick reaction out there by Gray. He throws out Zeke. I think of the San Francisco Giants of that era, and Roger Craig when he was managing them. The Hum Baby Giants, and he loved that forkball. Wanted his guys to use it.
I'm trying to think. I grew up watching the late 80s, early 90s Astros, and Mike Scott was one of the first pitchers that I got to watch. I can't remember if they can say, I think they called it a split finger and not a forkball, but he had a really good one. If you watch back to highlights, that thing dove off the table, and it was completely legal.
I was going to say, that's great, because he was pretty awesome in his heyday. Now you are talking just to the dead middle of the 80s. That, what was it, 86 when they were so good, had that wonderful NLCS with the Mets. He, you know, he was reputed, and I don't think there's a whole lot of discussion otherwise about how he would scuff the ball, which is so funny because that is something nobody does anymore.
Ever.
No one wants an imperfect ball out on the mound, whereas pitchers for, I don't know, 90 years, maybe 100 years, worked very hard to illegally scuff the ball so that they could get wicked movement like Mike Scott used to. Jake Berger lines that down to third, and that is off the glove of Lee. Wow, self-defense. Lee knocked that down, and Berger is on. That was a rocket.
That's one way to get on. Just hit the ball so hard that infielder can't even come up with it. Not necessarily hard by the exit velocity, but it gave Lee just a funky in-between hop where he didn't have time to come in on it, so he retreats. It's never a good plan for an infielder. Yeah, speaking of scuffing a ball, so I pitched in high school, and our catcher before every game, because we had baseballs with lower seams, but so that I could get a good grip on my curveball, I mean, he would just put that ball in his mouth and he would bite on the seams to raise the seams. The first time he did it, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm giving you a better opportunity to spin that breaking ball. I'm like, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Looking out for me.
Catchers are incredible. The stuff they would do. Help out their guy. That's amazing. Osuna fouls that back. Man on here, 2 out in the 4th inning.
Yeah, I think I was young enough in my baseball career, even having heard stories about Mike Scott and things like that, I didn't even know that it was wrong. What are you doing? I'm just putting the ball in my mouth. Helping you out there.
Does that seem legal? Well, until otherwise, yeah.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Well, now we know. 2-2, and that's pop foul. As I understood it, Yogi Berra, fantastic Hall of Fame catcher of the 50s, 60s, he would sharpen on his shin guards, sharpen those little latches, right? So that then he would take the ball out of his glove and he would scuff it up along those before sending it back to Whitey Ford. Whitey really loved it, apparently.
Sure he did.
He would just, you know, rub it on those little latches on his shin guards and scuff it up that way for him, and no one was the wiser. I mean, those are much better methods than the guys who would take the emery boards out to the mound and that sort of stuff. Have the contraband on them.
What is it? Is it the Necro highlight, or was it Gaylord Perry back in the day? Somebody had something in their back pocket.
Who had it in his back pocket.
And they came to they're like, what? And right when they go to spread their hands out, something comes flying out of the back pocket.
They kind of pulled it out in that gesture, and it went flopping out. 3-2, and that one is line foul. As Osuna continues to do good battle here with Joe Ryan. So Alejandro grounded out in the second inning, 0 for 1. He'll see a 9th pitch in this at bat. Ryan is up over 80 pitches already. He hasn't allowed a run yet, but he's kind of labored a little. And he strikes out Osuna, and it is another scoreless inning for the Twins right-hander. So he's figured out a way today. 4 scoreless. His team leads 6-0.
Cole Hamels, I believe that was back in 2015. For Blyleven, that was in 1977. Rangers are going to make a pitching move here. They're going to go to Peyton Gray. This will be his 18th game, 23 1/3 innings for him, 7 walks, 22 strikeouts, ERA just under 4. And we're talking about another pitcher who has a good change of pace.
That's right. We love the change of pace. First pitch is taken outside for a ball, and that was his changeup. He uses it in such a way that we would describe Gray as a guy who pitches backward. Working to Clemens here, and gives him another changeup, and that's a swing and a miss, 1-1. Gray's been fun to watch. A 30-year-old rookie with a great long journey to get here, and he has taken advantage of it. That time sneaks a fastball in for a strike. 1-2. 3 seasons along the way in his journey of playing independent league ball. As for the land of the forgotten, these poor guys, the Milwaukee Milkmen, a team he went back to several times. That one is right in there. Strike 3 called. He strikes out Clemens, 1 away.
Well, he makes pretty quick work of Clemens. Mixes in some changeups, finishes him off with the 93-mile-an-hour heater. Got some crossfire to it. You see Higashioka move that glove across, snatch it right on the inside part of the plate.
Now Royce Lewis, and he takes a slider for a strike. So 1 out here in the 5th inning, 6-0 Twins. And it was fun to see a shot of the great Bert Blyleven as we were coming back from break, who is truly one of those just dominant pitchers of his era. Over 3,700 strikeouts in his career, 287 wins. And there's a swinging strikeout of Lewis. Boy, back-to-back Ks for Gray.
Gray just mowing him down here early. I think that's just 7 pitches for him. This one right down the middle, challenges him with the fastball, but I mentioned that crossfire that he has. That throws the hitters off a little bit.
2 gone, and Josh Bell will be the batter. Bert Blyleven, though, one of the great personalities of the game too, both when he played and then afterward, a long time broadcaster for the Twins. Phenomenal sense of humor, always looking to have fun. I was just looking down the end of our TV booth here. Renee Good, your makeup artist. There's a bouncer second base. She had a lot of run-ins with Bert, and a lot of fun stories over the years. Ground out for Gray, a 1-2-3 5th inning. So Peyton Gray comes into relief, and wow, looking really good. Strikeout of Clemens, strikeout of Lewis, and the 30-year-old rookie dominant.
I feel like he's one of those guys that he produces maybe that fastball that could be considered the invisible in a way, the way hitters react to it. It's just, I guess, 92, 93 miles an hour. We have seen 96 out of it, so he can dial up that velocity when he wants to, but he is effective.
He's done a good job of logging innings too, and as their top starter, I suppose that would make sense. The guy they look to be, fairly consistent to get deep into ball games, and by that these days we mean 6, maybe 7 innings. But he's done that pretty consistently. So pitching to a higher pitch count, not that strange for him. But today I think is a little bit out of whack for him, because his high watermark's like 102, 107 pitches. He did that once, way back in early May. But he's going to get, the way things are going, he'll get to 100 pitches in this 5th inning. That is outside. It's 2-2 on Higashioka. So to go, let's say 6 innings today, is going to require him to probably get to a bigger pitch count number than he has all year. High fly ball, short center field. Buxton charging in, going out for it is the shortstop Gray, and getting a little physical there with Keyshaw to make sure that he got that one.
I thought Buxton was going to come get this one. We saw Gray venture way out into center field the other night to run down a baseball. This one, for a second, it looked, but no. I think that's one of the more impressive things when you watch big league defenders. Even when for a moment they look uncertain of themselves, they seem to be unwavering when they finally secure the ball.
You see the expressions. It's great. Grant does a nice job of letting you know how he's feeling out there. Yeah, that was dicey for a couple of moments. No balls, 2 strikes on Jock Peterson. 5th inning. Rangers have been shut out so far today. And Gray, good strike 3 called on Peterson. Just pins that right at the bottom of the zone. 2 away.
Well, there's something about certain pitchers, you just don't see him as well, and Jock not seeing Ryan very well. I think that might have been his split finger. It was that interesting grip, the way that it almost looks like a changeup. It's classified as a split, but either way it was moving down and away to Jock. He's got the hat trick today. Ryan's been really good, especially when he comes to the plate.
So Josh Young, the batter, and he swings through strike 2, and all of a sudden Ryan is really aggressively coming after these guys. Two outs, nobody on. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the first, and trying to do it for a second time today. Here it comes, and that is fouled straight down. Ryan at 7 strikeouts for the ball game. And his season high is 9. And he's low, 1-2. Rangers with just 3 hits today. Josh has 1 of them. That was in the 3rd. I like Ryan. He's got this kind of arm swinging thing that he's been doing. That's sort of old school. There's a fly ball out to right field. Clemens going back near the wall, and he makes the catch. A good leap, well timed, right before hitting the fence. And it completes another 1-2-3 inning for Gray.
Josh Young's had some good.
A fun day out here at the ballpark. They're looking though for a little more from the home team. They're still enjoying themselves. But a 6-0 Twins lead as Robbie Ahlstrom checks in, Rangers' second reliever of the game.
Ahlstrom's been fun to watch in his first 5 major league games of his career. 6 innings pitched, total. Went 2 innings in one of those, 1 1/3.
This one is hit high in the air to center field, not going to go anywhere. And Osuna will take care of it, 1 away.
Well, it's just fun to see another lefty out of the bullpen. He's got really good stuff. He's used his fastball to both sides of the plate, and just in a year in which there were, I guess you could say, some unknowns with the Rangers bullpen. It's a part of the team that has been one of the more fun things to watch and talk about, and Alstrom just a guy who's showing how much depth they have.
For me, the bullpen has been easily the best story of the year, and the expectations weren't real high coming in for the Rangers pen. There were just so many question marks, but they have answered it in a big way. The other thing that I really like about the bullpen this year was, it seems like in recent years the Rangers just sort of mentally limited themselves, like, we just need a lefty, just one lefty. And I remember at spring training this year in Arizona, when Skip was asked about that, he said, well, wait a minute, can I have multiple lefties? Is there a reason we're, because everyone's talking about, well, who's going to be your lefty? He's like, what do you mean my lefty? Why can't I have several? Well, that's tight. 1-2 the count. And indeed, the Rangers have used quite a few left-handed relievers, and it's been great. It's worked out beautifully. The 1-2, and that's a little bit outside. So anyway, Robbie, another rookie, who has come up and done a really nice job working to Victor Caratini, a veteran catcher, and got him to flinch, but he wouldn't take the bait there. That's high. 3-2.
I'd love to be part of those conversations during the offseason on how a bullpen is built and what exactly they're looking for, whether it's just a pure numbers thing or, digging deeper into the analytics, because it makes you almost think of like Moneyball.
And the whole shortstop, long throw from Duran. I can't believe there was very nearly a play on that. When Young missed it, I wasn't certain that Duran would be able to even get it, let alone have a throw. But they were unable to get Caratini. That's an infield hit.
Well, you got a catcher running, so that's what gave you a chance. Young goes hard to his left. It just scoots under his glove. Duran with a little bit of a bobble. We know that he's got a good arm, and a good arm can make up for a lot, but not able to get Caratini here. I guess from a bullpen standpoint, you kind of think of the opposite, because in Moneyball they were talking about offensive players, and well, what does he do? Well, he gets on base, right? So well, from a bullpen standpoint, well, what does he do well? Well, probably he doesn't walk guys, and he gets outs. Now there's a lot of guys that do that, but what gives you the characteristics, or I guess today if we're talking about pitch shapes or arsenals or velocity, we already have a righty with these characteristics that throw hard, and maybe he's got a split finger, maybe he's got a change up, so we can complement him. Let's give ourselves a lefty. When the situation presents itself, we can put him in the game, so on and so forth. Whether it's a lefty specialist, even a guy like last year that stood out, like Hobie Milner, you would think of him as a lefty specialist because of the angle that he threw from, but he had a really good changeup, and he got righties out also.
Well, that's what Alstrom's trying to do here. Left-hander working to the right-handed pinch hitter, Ryan Kreidler. Kreidler taking over for Tristan Gray, who finished the day 0 for 2. The 1-2 pitch, and that's upstairs. 1 out, 1 man on for the Twins. They got 4 runs in the first inning. Imagine that. And then 2 more in the 4th. The Rangers have had some opportunities, but they've stranded 5 runners and have not yet scored. That ball's hit hard out to center field, coming on for it. Osuna makes a waist-high grab. 2 gone. And with 2 away, let's slide over a smidge here for Progressive.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. New customers could save hundreds by bundling their auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. See how easy it is at progressive.com.
2 away, and Luke Keyshaw, the batter, he's been on twice already today. And he'll take way outside for a ball. Well, the Rangers in danger of being swept at home here by the Minnesota Twins. A team that came into the series 7 games under 500. And that pitch looked pretty good, but I guess a little bit inside. Derek Shelton, their manager, first year managing in Minnesota. And it's been a little bit of a bumpy ride for him. And now there's talk about what might they do at the trade deadline. Are there guys who they might ship away and try and load up their system a bit? And that can't be fun, especially for a first-time manager. Although there they are, right? You look at the wild card, a game and a half out. They're 5 games under 500. 5 games under 500. And you could argue very much in the wild card race.
Definitely not playing like they're 5 games under 500.
No. Well, that was interesting as Higgy was racing after the ball in front of him. He was also asking for a challenge. And so an ABS challenge here, and he got it right. That was a strike. I wasn't sure he was going to be granted the challenge.
How often are you going to see a catcher scurrying out in front of home plate and he's tapping his helmet at the same time? Catcher's always trying to work under the baseball. He just doesn't catch it cleanly. Gets that top spin. So it's, oh, I guess he just missed it. A hit off of his shin guard.
Yeah, blocks that one now. 3-2 the count. Higgy has a distinction of being maybe one of the lowest setting catchers in the game. He doesn't use the one knee style because he has the ability to get so low. And now time called. I do think that our plate umpire today, Mike Esterbrook, has been very reasonable with the way he's allowed guys to use those ABS challenges. Because that was the second one he could have possibly denied. 3-2 is up, and that's ball 4. A 2-out walk to Keyshaw. Second time he's walked today. So back to the top for Trevor Larnach. Two men on base. And that's one thing that the Twins have done in this series is they have scored runs with 2 outs in an inning. And this one is upstairs. Ball 1 to Larnach. So Alstrom got off to a good start in the inning, but 20 pitches in and dealing with the top hitters in the lineup. And that one's high. 2-0.
Well, Larnach didn't start the first game of the series versus Mackenzie Gore because he's not a guy that has success against left-handed pitching. Just 3 for 4. 3 for 24, excuse me. Good for a 125 batting average. So you think Alstrom's got the advantage here. He just needs to get in the strike zone.
Well, I think he comes out to, I think, if nothing else, just give him a moment to catch his breath. 2 outs in this series. The Twins with 2 outs have 14 hits and have scored 16 runs.
Ooh.
Yeah, those are, and any time you get a 2-out run, there is a little psychological piece that the other side feels. And so that's been a part of it. This has been, the Twins have won a lot of different things in this series, but the psychological battle is one of them that they have won. 2-0 to Larnach. And he swings through strike one. I remember telling Mitch Garver when he became a Ranger years ago that my thoughts about the Twins coming through town here, especially across the street, was always that they just had explosive series here. And they would score a ton of runs. Flair out into left. That drops in for a base hit. And the throw from Langford is cut off. Caratini scores a 2-out run. And the Twins do it again. It is 7-0 in the 6th inning. Man.
Well, it's not like the Rangers offense has busted out and helped their cause, but man, and once again, I'm not going to say that the Twins offense has been lucky and this is what they've been doing all series long, but they've been mixing in a bit of everything. The long ball, the little blooper out there to score a run. I think it's just an offense that is in go, go, go mode.
Yeah, they got it working right now. So Jordan Teague's out there to have a quick word. Slow things down again, just as they had done a moment ago with Higashioka. Quantrill starting to throw in the Rangers pen. On Tuesday, what was the score in Tuesday's game? It was like 12-2.
Yep.
That's the thing here. Recently, Rangers have lost some games, but they've lost some of them in rather demonstrative ways, right? I mean, just large deficits. They had the 10-1 loss in Boston, that 12-2 yesterday. Now trailing 7-0. These aren't that competitive. Curveball misses. 1-1 to count. Been outscored 23-4 in this series. Wahlstrom's 1-1, and that is up high. Well, he just looks like he's hot, right? I mean, he's flush. 26 pitches in the inning. He's probably nearing the end of his rope here. This might be his last batter. There's a strike. 2-2. One way or the other, right? He gets in, the inning's over. Great. But if he does not get Buxton, that might spell the end of the afternoon. Then again, you got the lefty Clemens waiting on deck. Buxton hits this one on the ground, shortstop, and they'll get the force out at second base. We'll never know. The inning is over. Twins have to settle for the 1 run. They leave a couple. So we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. A little steamy and warm down there in Fort Worth. Nice and cool. Looks like it's trending to an even better number, but a .722 winning percentage here. You know, it's supposed to be harder on the road, Murray.
It's supposed to be. Now, some teams just, whether it's a certain ballpark, I mean, I'm convinced that the Twins are just playing good baseball. We're catching them at the wrong time of year.
Well, here's a swing and a drive deep out to left field. That one back near the wall, and it is gone. So Langford starts the 6th inning with a solo home run. The Rangers will not be shut out this afternoon.
There's a big swing. Love to see Langford get hot. He is a guy, especially with Seager out of the lineup right now. If he can go on a little bit of a tear, you think between Jock typically having some good games recently, Josh Young, I feel like he's swung the bat pretty well lately with not a lot to show for it. If Langford can get hot, and with Nimmo behind him, I feel like that'll put the Rangers in position to score some more runs, especially early in games, which we've seen the importance of that here in this series and recently.
Quite a start to the afternoon for Lawrence, Justin Lawrence, who had just come into the game. That was the first pitch he threw.
Yeah, we didn't even get the chance to introduce him.
Rangers fans are saying, well, we'd like to meet him. More. Fly ball center field. And one away. That'll bring up Ezekiel Duran. Lawrence has been warming up at some juncture in this series, but it is the first time he's appeared in a ball game in this series. And he goes 1-0 to Ezekiel Duran. So Ryan gave them 5 innings today, shutout innings. But one pitch after he leaves the game, the Rangers get on the scoreboard. So you just got to give Joe Ryan a little bit of credit. Walked 2, struck out 7, and there's a big sweeper in there for a strike to Duran. 1-2. Misses badly. Well, there's enough time that if the Twins bullpen is having a rough afternoon, Rangers could string together a couple of innings here and get back in it. Oh, that ball's hit well. Deep down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It's gone! Right off the pole! Fifth of the year for Zeke. No, back-to-back home runs off Justin Lawrence.
Looked like a similar part of the strike zone for both home runs, although this looked like a sweeper or slider to Zeke on the inside part. Langford hit a fastball, and Zeke just pulled his down the line a little bit more off the foul pole. Rangers busting out with some power here in the 6th.
I was convinced that was going to stay fair, and then it was headed right to the post. It hit that chicken sign. Eat more chicken. 0-2 on Josh Smith now. Back-to-back home runs. This one back-to-back home runs. There's the fly ball in the middle by Nimmo. Smith fouls that away. 0-2. Well, might be enough to inject a little life into that bench. There's a swinging strikeout of Smith. And rather he strikes out. Now Jake Berger. Now Berger watches ball 1. He has walked, and he's also reached on an infield hit in the 4th inning. That was his 10th infield hit of the season, which is tied for the team lead. So he leads the team in home runs and in RBIs and in infield hits. You figure.
Makes sense.
1 away. 2-1. Goes back to a little bit of our earlier discussion today about just trying to figure this game out.
There's no such thing.
No. It is a lost cause.
There's been way too many instances, even just looking at the Twins record at Globe Life Field, how that makes sense. You would think it would be if a team would come in here and dominate, you would think it would be you know, the New York Yankees or a team full of firepower. And that's no disrespect to the Twins. They put together plenty of competitive rosters.
Oh, there you go. Strike 3 called, and so Berger is down looking to end the inning. But the Rangers get things going offensively. Wyatt Langford, first pitch of the inning.
Some shoes.
For that work or not?
I don't. Yeah, whether that's work or dancing, mid-game dancing, we'll never know.
I sure hope it's the former. 7th inning here, 7-2, and Cal Quantrill is on. And he deals a little bit high, 1-1. So Quantrill becomes the 3rd reliever used today. Back of Jack Leiter. Peyton Gray and Robbie Ahlstrom on the last 2 innings, and there's a swing and a fly ball center field. Osuna is over, and he makes the catch, 1 away. We can look to Spectrum here.
Spectrum Internet, the most reliable internet you can count on.
So 1 out for Quantrill. First pitch swinging. Lewis lifts this out in short left field. And that'll make for a routine play for Langford, 2 away. A couple of fly ball outs, and Josh Bell comes to the plate. 1 for 2 today with a single, a run scored, an RBI, and a walk. Oh, the Twins got their early runs, 4 runs in the first inning. Sort of set the tone, and the Rangers have struggled a little bit even since then. There's a swinging strike on Bell. But they did show a little something last inning anyway against the bullpen. That's a little bit up. So last game against the Twins here this afternoon. They will head out after the game. Rangers stay put. I look forward to seeing Manny Machado and the San Diego Padres tomorrow. And I know that Mason Miller, their great closer, is on the bereavement list. And I wonder how close he might be to coming back. Here's a pop-up foul. Back out of play. Well, there's some huge marquee type names on that Padres roster. A team in 2nd place in the National League West. There will be another good opponent for the Rangers. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, lots of tickets still available. So if you're looking for a little something, a little diversion, come on out and check it out. Who knows, you might end up one of those ball games with a lot of soccer fans in tow, ready to make it a really festive atmosphere. That's high. 2-2.
Padres got off to a really nice start, even with Machado underachieving. Tatis, I don't really know how to break down his season. He's just had a complete power outage, even though he's hitting for some average.
This is on the ground and blasted past 3rd base into left field. 2-out base hit for Bell. And his great series continues.
He's been an interesting hitter just in watching him, because he's sprayed the ball to the opposite field more than I've expected. I've expected him to see pull side power. He has driven in a lot of runs. and had good at bats, but I guess just in the way that I didn't expect.
Oh, he's probably not going anywhere anytime soon over at first. Brooks Lee, meanwhile, takes ball one. Lee's had a sneaky good year, especially in the power categories. 12 homers. 1-1 the count on the Twins' third baseman. Lee did not start the opening game on Monday. And just one of those where they wanted to give him a night off. Royce Lewis started over at third base in his stead. Lewis, who's played a lot of third base in his career, but this year's moved over to the other side of the infield and seemingly found a little more comfort over there. They're appreciative of his willingness to move to the other side of the diamond for a night. Not an easy thing to ask a guy to do. Here's the 1-2. That'll even the count. The Twins have not been a very good defensive team this year, though. So you put a guy in a tough spot, but I don't know what you can expect, especially when they've fumbled it around a little bit this year. 2-2 pitch, man, that's fouled back.
It makes it hard to win when you don't play good defense. Something that if you just watch the game a little bit, I don't think the defensive part of it shows up. But once you start to understand it, how it works, the flow of it, especially behind your pitching staff, the defensive part really comes into play.
There's a high pump up down the third baseline heading foul, and Young gets to it. He makes the catch. And the inning is done. Nice job by Quantrill. A scoreless seventh inning. It's stretch time here in Arlington.
Your offense on top of that first inning homer. So combined, they have 7 runs, and those 2 homers that count for all that Texas has done today offensively. So we enter the bottom of the 7th, excuse me, 7-2 ball game.
Cody Freeman will pinch hit to start the inning. He takes a strike. So batting for Osuna here, right-handed hitter against the left-hander Taylor Rogers.
If you see all these guys coming out of the bullpen, I mean, those are the guys to get. Lots of ERAs over 5 and 6.
This ball hit hard out to left field, but a little jumping catch at the end there by Larnach. Style points. 1 away. We'll bring it up to Higgy. Higgy's 0 for 2 today. And he'll take strike 1. 5 hits for the Rangers. As Murph mentioned, the 2 solo home runs. One of those where, you know, beggars can't be choosers. But I would say, you know, there are times where you have runners on base. It's so hard to save the home runs for those moments. In the dirt. 1 and 2. Today is the 74th game of the season, so we're a week away from the midpoint of the 2026 season. And then to get into that, and we're getting very close to that time actually, where the trade deadline at the end of July will become quite the focal point and the conversational point for a lot of people. Pulled foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Higgy. Be a lot of teams with some really difficult decisions to make. I don't know. maybe they're easier than it would immediately appear for some. Take the Twins as an example, right? They're at the moment a game and a half out in the wild card. So you're saying, okay, well, that's a team, we got to go for it. Well, do you? There's a line drive into center. Base hit for Higgy. Another Rangers catcher coming up with a hit.
Yep, good offense. 1 for 3 showing for Higgy today. Little two-seam fastball that starts in, runs back over the plate.
All base runner on. Rogers gets a visit here. Say he gets a visit. Looks like he's doing most of the talking. But so I think that's, to me, it's always kind of an interesting question. Foscue announced as the pinch hitter. I would understand the argument that a team general manager or fan base might make. Well, you just want to get in, and then you got a shot. You got to get in. And these days, it doesn't take quite as much to get into the postseason. And once you do, got a couple of pitchers you feel like you can count on. Well, maybe you could make a run. I could also understand a team saying, we're 5 games under 500. Let's not be having conversations about the wild card, because how good could we be if we can't even play 500 ball? And are we really a legitimate contender, even if we were in the postseason at 5 games under? So I think it's that type of argument or consideration that a number of teams may be faced with. The Rangers right now, even closer to a wild card spot than the Twins, but they're 35 and 38. And I think you could. Again, it just depends on how you want to frame it and how you want to look at it. Well, we'll get some guys healthy, and we've got some big game pitchers. I mean, any team would feel good with Nathan Eovaldi going to the mound in a playoff game, or Jacob deGrom. You got Jordan Montgomery. Looks like he's pretty close to coming back. 2-2. And that one is outside. But you could just as easily see an argument being made to figure out a way to get better for the future. Maybe, if you can't play 500 ball, maybe you're kind of reaching a little bit. Inside, and that's ball 4. Foscue works the walk. So the Rangers have a couple of men on again.
Yeah, the future could mean a lot of different things, right? It could mean the next 2 or 3 years. You could go trade for a prospect that is even younger, that he may not get to the big leagues and impact your team for 5 more years. But there's so many different variables in considering, do you want to buy or do you want to sell?
We'll continue to have that conversation when we come back. Rogers' day is done. Not a real effective day for him. He leaves responsible for a couple of base runners. And when we return, Andrew Morris will be on it. 1 out, and mentioned Morris, a new pitcher in the game here for the Twins.
We saw Morris earlier in this series. In the outing that he had, he threw 9 pitches and 8 strikes, and two strikeouts in the inning. He really breezed through the 3 guys that he faced.
Does look like somebody else we've seen recently. Right-hander misses off the plate with a cutter. Does he look a little bit like the guy who started the game today for Minnesota? Right in there for a strike, and the count 0-2. He's got a little Joe Ryan to him.
Is it just the mustache? Like
probably, and he's got the long hair out the back.
We've talked about our guys out of the bullpen. The guys that have the mustaches working just gives a similar look.
That one spins off the plate, 1 and 2. So here's Ryan. Start the game. And there's Morris. 2, and he bounces that one up there. It's almost like, you ever seen those memes or whatever that people put together? It's like people who look like their pets.
That look like their pets?
Yeah.
No,
it's kind of funny. Like, people seem to, like, in some ways you could see like the little similarity. They're pets, and the other looks like the 2-2. That's low. Full count. And I don't know, maybe just everybody hangs out enough together, they all start to look pretty similar. Big 3-2 pitch to Young, and he fouls it away. Now listen, one swing here, and Young certainly capable of doing the kind of damage that I'm hinting at. Well, one of those big swings, this game gets pretty interesting in a hurry, even though it's been all Minnesota all day. We got Higgy out at second. We got Foscue at first. It's off to the right side, way out there. Pretty good long battle here, an 8-pitch battle, in fact. And a chopper, shortstop, quick flip to second. They get one. On to first in time for the double play. So the Rangers, with the fatal mistake of putting runners on base. That is a surefire way to slow down the offense. Wyatt Langford has moved over into center field now, with Cody Freeman staying in the game in left. Quantrill spun a scoreless 7th inning. And he'll get the bottom of the order now in this 8th inning from Minnesota. 7-2 ball game. Quantrill misses upstairs with ball 1. Twins have been up and down a little bit this season. Started off slowly, and this one fouled away for a strike 2. Then they worked their way back into first place for a bit there early on, but generally speaking have found themselves looking up this season. And they made a lot of changes in the offseason. Felt like it was time to move in a slightly different direction. Marco Baldelli's tenure came to a close as the 1-1 fouled away. I feel like there were high expectations during Rocco's tenure, where year after year they felt like they had a lot of things in place. They made some big moves, guys like Carlos Correa. That's high. You could argue that the Twins been a little bit snake bitten during that time too. Buxton got hurt. Correa at times found himself on the injured list. That's a yanked foul. Look. Ow, my goodness. Yeah.
You foul off a pitch this far.
Look at this. Not looking
right behind him.
Hello. How about that post? MVP, most valuable post. Saved him. That one lined out into left field and drops in for a hit. Freeman has to wait and take it on a hop, and Caratini has his 3rd hit of the game. I feel like we opened the game talking about catchers hitting. We were talking about Rangers catchers hitting. And Caratini, he's not paying close enough attention.
I don't know if it's just me. I feel like he's one of those guys that goes under the radar. Like, he dominates the Rangers every single time they go up against him.
He's a sneaky Rangers killer. I mean, I don't feel like he's a guy who delivers all the big game-winning hits or those huge moments that would really grab your attention, but I do feel like, to your point, he's on all the time against the Rangers. high fly ball deep out into right center field, and that one is gone. Another home run. This time Ryan Kreidler. It's a 2-run shot. And the Twins have added to their lead. It is 9-2. Man.
This is an opposite field homer. This is good pop. I feel like we don't see a ton of opposite field homers in this ballpark. Maybe the ball's just carrying a little bit more today. At least for the Twins anyways. Carrying anytime a Minnesota Twin in this series swings the bat.
It's like the old Metrodome when they'd open those doors up,
That's right.
up on the concourse when they came up in the ninth.
Danger.
It was a swing and a hard ground ball through the left side. That's a base hit. So Keyshaw is on a single, a homer, and another base hit. I've seen some impressive offensive performances this year. There are times when the athletics and the depth of their lineup can get your attention. The Yankees certainly brought some serious thump. Boy, I don't know, consistent game to game to game in a series. If we've seen a team bash Rangers pitching around quite the same way the Twins have here.
It feels like today and game 2 are what we've seen. It just feels like we've seen about 10 to 12 hours of baseball. Yeah. That's what it feels like, just of the Twins hitting, right? But even looking back at my scorecard from the first game, the Twins only got 4 hits in that one, but 2 of them were homers. So that's how they scored. But yeah, that's kind of surprising because it feels like this has just been the whole series.
Yeah. There's a strike to Larnach. Two runs in, nobody out. Keyshaw, the runner at first base. Larnach has homered today. Has 3 hits, and he cuts right through strike 2. Rangers have been outscored 25-6 so far in this series. Honestly, didn't feel that close. And that's the thing I mentioned earlier, how he used to have that conversation with Mitch Garver. It wasn't that they would just come in and win games. It felt like they came in and just put up all sorts of crooked numbers. They have 34 hits in this series.
We're not too many years removed from, I think it was the 2019 Twins. They set a record for home runs by a team in a season. Does that record still stand?
For some reason, I don't think it does, which is kind of crazy. This one lined out to center field. And Larnach retired in May, but I feel like the Yankees team passed that in recent years.
2023 Atlanta Braves. That's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, it's a tie. Both teams hold it.
Oh, so they're tied with the 19 Twins?
Correct.
Ooh, hard shot down to third. Young comes up with it, gets you out at second. The relay to first, not in time. Nice play, though, by Young. And they retire Keyshaw. Second out of the inning.
Hard hit ground ball to third base. Good play by Young. Buxton's going to be a tough one to double off. They get 1 out on the play. I think if anything, you're just looking at the fact that baseball can be a tale of two different halves, right? That's the beauty of playing so many games and having such a long season. How many times have you seen a player have an average or below average first half? Maybe not below average, but say average. They're not an all-star, but they end up being an MVP or a Cy Young. I know it happened with these guys in 2006. I believe Justin Morneau, when he won the MVP, I don't think he was an all-star that year. I played with a guy, Corey Kluber, who won the Cy Young after not being an all-star. So maybe it's the same thing from a team standpoint. You can get to the postseason after not doing everything you want in the first half, and technically we still got time. So you said today is the 74th game. There's still 7 games left in the official first half, even though you think about the official first half and games played before the All-Star game not necessarily adding up the same way.
There's a swing and a miss. A strikeout of Clemens ends the inning. 2 more runs for the Twins. All right, well, the Rangers, they still have a couple of at-bats. When do we return? Like on Friday. So the rookie Fedko, we saw him make his debut here on Monday night. Kyler Fedko takes over in left field. And Orzi will become the new reliever.
Saw Orzi the other night. He's got pretty good stuff. Numbers may not indicate just how good he is capable of being.
Fouls that one away. 1-1. Wyatt hit the home run his last time up. That was in the 6th inning. Kind of a line shot. And he takes a strike. There's a swing and a miss, and Orzi takes care of Langford in short order. A strikeout to begin the inning.
Gets Langford on the split finger. Another pitch. I feel like all the Twins guys throw their splitters in different ways. It kind of looked like a split change type of grip.
So Brandon Nimmo, he'll roll one to second base on the first pitch he sees from Orzi. 2 away. Nicky Lopez announced here for Ezekiel Duran. Time running short for the Rangers, so it's interesting, you know, series by series. There are certain eventualities you could imagine. This could go well, that might not go perfectly. Maybe it'll work out like this or like that. The one thing I did not anticipate, and I just really, quite honestly, would have found it very difficult to see, was a sweep by the Twins in this series. And Lopez rolls that one up the middle. That's a base hit. So Nicky comes through with a 2-out single.
Reaches out and touches this split finger, rolls it back up the middle. And I think there's been multiple instances, especially here recently, where you go into each series with some type of expectation. Well, if we can get the first one and maybe win 2 out of 3, or Rangers are playing good baseball, they're playing a weaker team, maybe it'd be a good time for a sweep. It just hasn't gone in any series the way that you would expect it to.
Nope, and that's why they have a winning record against really good teams and a losing record against bad teams. Nothing ever really makes sense. It was the old Leo DeRocher line many years ago. Baseball is like church. Many go, you understand. And it is true. Just be wary of anybody who tries to convince you that they do know everything about baseball. There's a little bouncer down the third baseline. That's a base hit. And the bad hop is knocked down out there by Fedko. Does allow Lopez to get to third base. A double for Smitty, though, and the Rangers have a couple of men in scoring position.
I think Josh Young has like 3 lineouts this series, so how does it make sense that you hit the ball hard with no success on those 3 at-bats, and then this ends up being a hit right off the end of the bat. Perfect placement right down the third baseline. Not only a hit, but an extra base hit.
Now first pitch swinging. Berger pops this one up. And so again, the Rangers get a couple of men on. And that brings a close to the inning. Rangers lead game at shortstop now. And Cole Winn will try to get the final 3 outs on the mound.
25 games for Winn this season. You see that ERA just a little bit inflated. Gave up 2 runs his last outing in Boston. 2 good outings before that. Just trying to be a little bit more consistent. We saw him have a nice year last year, 1.51 ERA.
Fouled back right at us. Oh, doggone it.
By your reaction, I'm guessing you haven't got one up here yet.
We've had one that hit the camera arm in front of the booth.
Okay.
That's it. But it didn't, then it carried him back into the seats. There's another foul ball back our direction. Come on, come to daddy. Oh. Just short. Yeah, so there it was. Bounced off those seats and then telling you, be on your toes. Maybe get another one. Yeah, that one fouled into the mitt for a strikeout.
Another split finger. This one just darts inside on Lewis. It's the interesting thing. I was looking at Ryan and his split finger numbers before the game. Typically it's a pitch that you would see drop, but a lot of these righties are throwing it and they're just getting arm side run. Now, I think it's also because if you look at the arm angle, typically you would think a guy like Nathan Eovaldi, I think he's got a 37-degree arm angle. He'd be more equipped to throw that splitter. Ryan is at 24 degrees. I don't know where Cole Winn is. Let's check that one out.
This one in the air. Center field coming on hard for it. Langford. Lopez going out and makes that basket style catch for out number 2.
Bell going to center field this time. He's been going to left field a lot as a left-handed hitter in this series. Good job by Lopez. Good concentration. The center fielder coming in, looking up into that roof. Now Cole Winn's arm angle 40 degrees, a little bit more over the top. You can see a guy that would be successful with a split finger.
Strike pitch to Lees. Waved out and missed. Strike 2. And runs that one inside. So Cole looking for a perfect inning to wrap up this side of the scorecard for us today. And a bouncer second base. Smith helps him out in that regard. A little 4-3 put out. And the inning is done. Nice job by Cole Winn. That is was only the second 1-2-3 inning fashion by a Rangers pitcher today.
I know their pitching staff has had a lot of injuries. That's been a difficult part of their season. But they are in the mix. They're over 500, and we have talked about how the Rangers have excelled against teams above 500. Cody Lauerson will come in the ball game. This will be his 12th game this season.
Well, last chance for the Rangers. Freeman goes right after the first pitch and rolls it sharply to shortstop, one away. So yeah, we'll start thinking about those Padres here pretty soon. Rangers still have 2 outs with which to work. Odds are long, but it's not over yet. Now, if we're playing at Wrigley Field or something like that, the chances would be a lot greater. Maybe the elements could somehow force their will on the situation. A little harder in an indoor ballpark for that kind of randomness to occur. Higashioka has a hit today in 3 tries and takes a little bit up, ball 1. Well, if the Rangers fail to manage 7 runs here in the bottom of the 9th inning, it would be the 3rd time this year that they've been swept. High fly ball right field, and an easy play for Clemens, 2 gone. This series, the Rangers were 0 for 17 with runners in scoring position. With men on base, the Rangers 5 for 33 in the series. Hard to understand what it is about base runners and the prospect of scoring runs that seems to pose such an issue for the lineup. Foscue batting here with 2 out in the 9th. Justin walked in the 7th inning. He takes high, 1-1. This one is hit well, center field. That one has a chance. It is gone. So Justin Foscue, he does it again. Justin has taken the opportunity this last time around with the Rangers, and he has really run with it.
It's good to see him just getting more playing time, getting more comfortable at the major league level. We know he's hitting lefties well. He gets an opportunity against a righty, gets a slider in the middle of the plate, and that's showing some good pop to center field.
4th home run of the year for Foscue. And now Young takes a high strike. So 9-3. And that one's in there for a strike. No balls, 2 strikes to Young. Rangers down to their final out. All 3 of their runs today score on solo home runs. And that is outside. Well, you're happy for Foscue. Good guy who has gone through his fair share of tough times at the big league level. Had that long offer last year that was, it got to the point where it was almost comical. He would hit the ball hard, but right at somebody, and kept a good attitude, just kept plugging along in the 2-2 pitch. This one down the right side and slicing away for a long foul ball. Stays 2-2 on Young. Well, this year Foscue getting yet another opportunity, and he is swinging it well. He's kind of become an important member, whether it's as a platoon starter against lefties or as a pinch hitter. But he's really worked himself into a nice role, the 2-2, and that's up the middle, base hit. So Young is on. Lawyerson, we've seen it today on the other side where that third out of the inning is sometimes the toughest one to get. Rangers hoping that's the case here for Lawyerson. Here is Langford. Wyatt is homer today, 1 for 3 with a walk. And fouls that back. The home run came in the 6th inning today. Beautiful sound.
It's a great sound. I was going to say the same thing.
One strike pitch and a little tapper toward third. Might not be a routine play. The throw to first, not in time. And Langford reaches with that hustle in the 9th inning. Rangers have a couple of base runners.
Scorched here, but Langford's got good speed, doing a good job using the at-bat that he has here in the 9th inning. Hustling. Hey, you never know, right?
Nope, that's why you keep playing. We'll talk sometimes about the romanticism of baseball, the game without a clock, and this is where that kind of thing really comes into play. A swing and a miss by Nimmo for strike 1. Lawyerson, after getting 2 outs, he's got home run, base hit, base hit. 9-3 the score. Tomorrow night, Jacob deGrom on his bobblehead day. Randy Vasquez, a starter for the San Diego Padres. Good seats still available. It's a 3 o'clock game on Saturday, a 1:35 on Sunday. Bouncer right side of the infield. And the play made by Keyshaw to end the ball game. The Rangers leave a couple. They get the solo home run by Foscue, but they fall short in this one. In fact, swept by the Twins. 9-3 the final score. We'll take a break. We'll come back and wrap it up for you here in a moment.